Hello, happy Tuesday. This is Jennifer McArdle with McArdle Media. And if you were getting on the computer today to learn a little bit about Twitter, then you are in the right place. This is Twitter 101. We're going to talk about Twitter in terms of how to use it for your business, but also really what is it? How do I use it? The little intricacies here and there that where a lot of people are used to using Facebook and maybe haven't used Twitter as much. We'll cover a lot of that today. And it is a lot to cover. And so if after today's training, you are a little bit overwhelmed, you want some clarity on things, you want to take a little bit of a deeper dive, we can set up a one-on-one session. That's part of our tech tutor training for $25 an hour. We can sit down on Zoom like we are here, and we can go through exactly what it is that you're wanting to learn within Twitter and take a really deep dive, but also give you some hands-on experience that will help you be able to navigate it easily and more easily, simply on your own. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you today. And here we go. So Twitter 101. Before we get started, I would like to let you know that McArdle Media and this webinar are in no way sponsored, endorsed, or administered by or associated with Twitter. Twitter and the Twitter logo are registered trademarks of Twitter Inc. A little bit about me. My name is Jennifer McArdle. I went to the University of Michigan Dearborn, where I studied business administration and business management. I hold certifications in several different areas of marketing, and I'm a member of the American Marketing Association, the Digital Marketing Institute, and several of my local chambers of commerce. So McArdle Media, we are located in Metro Detroit, Michigan, in Livonia. We have clients all over the country, including Texas, California, Georgia, Ohio. We've worked with clients all over. So that's the great thing about what I do, working online digitally, is before this remote work with COVID became a thing, I was doing this prior. So it's easy for me to jump on and help you navigate things a little bit better wherever you are in the country. So about McArdle Media, we do social media for small business. Our tagline is, it's time to go social and we make it simple, because who doesn't want this world of digital marketing to be a little bit simpler? Our mission is to enable and empower small businesses to be successful on social media, whether that is us training you and you doing it on your own, or whether that's us taking the reins and doing the behind the scenes work for you. Whatever works for you, whatever that looks like, that's what we're here to help with. So we specialize in social media, including Facebook, which is our main platform, but we also work with Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And our focus is on organic content and community management. So that is not paid ads. That's content that you create and that you post that you're not paying for. If you want more information about that, shoot an email, give us a phone call. We'll walk you through what that means. So who do we serve? Business to consumer small businesses. So if you are selling products, services to consumers, if the consumer is your end user as opposed to a business. We work with entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and we offer a personal approach with hands-on support, which is kind of what I mentioned earlier. If you don't quite get Twitter, or if you want to delve in deeper after this, that one-on-one hands-on support is what we do that a lot of businesses in our industry don't do. So reaching more people online, that's what this whole digital marketing thing is about. But how do we do that? We do that, and what we're talking about today, through social media. We forget sometimes what social media really is. When a lot of people think of social media, they think of just a couple of end users arguing with each other. We forget why it was really started and how it works really in the real world. And that is that social media is a computer-based technology that facilitates the sharing of ideas, thoughts, and information through building of virtual networks and communities. What does that mean? That means you gain followers and you disseminate information to them. You're sharing information that's helpful to them. You're sharing ideas and thoughts about the types of products and services that you're offering. It's not just sales, sales, sales. It's really creating a community, a network of people who are interested in what it is that you do. So Twitter specifically, Twitter is a microblogging and social networking service on which users post and interact with messages known as tweets. So a microblog differs from a traditional blog in that its contents is typically smaller in both actual and aggregated file size. So what does that mean? When we think of Twitter, it's a little bit different than other social networking in that it was really meant to be a microblogging, which means typing up small little snippets of information. It used to be 140 characters that you could type in a tweet. And it was meant to be a way of blogging, but a drilled down version to where you weren't creating huge blog posts and putting them on your website. These are small microblogs that go on their site. So I mentioned that 140 characters with, I want to believe, I would say maybe 2016-ish, 2017, they upgraded that to where you could have 280 characters. So a character, when you're typing in characters, that includes letters, numbers, spaces, hashtags, emojis, everything that you put in. So if you're hitting several spaces, it's including all of those in the character count. So be cognizant of that when you're typing a tweet, when you're putting one together. You can type a very long post on Facebook, but on Twitter, it needs to be short and concise. So Twitter is undoubtedly one of the most popular social media platforms available today, with 100 million daily active users and 500 million tweets sent daily. That's huge. That when I hear that, that blows my mind. What that means to me, and what that possibly means for you in your business, is that there is opportunity out there for potentially for your business to be on Twitter to reach these 100 million daily active users. Twitter can be used to receive news, follow high-profile celebrities, or stay in touch with old high school friends. Think of it as any other social media platform in that regard. Who do you follow on social media? You probably follow friends and family. For a lot of people, that's how they stay in touch with folks, all over the country, whether it's here, old high school friends who maybe you live in different parts of the country, or let's say you're a grandparent and you live in a different part of the country than your grandkids. So maybe this is a way for you to interact with your children, to be able to see pictures of your grandkids. But also people follow celebrities, they follow businesses, just like any other social media platform. So Twitter is, again, a great platform to be able to reach the masses. So hashtags are a big thing on social media, on Twitter, and I would be remiss if I didn't touch on that quickly. On Twitter, adding what we used to call the pound sign, adding a hashtag to the beginning of an unbroken word or phrase creates a hashtag. When you use a hashtag in a tweet, it becomes linked to all other tweets that include it. So let's say you do hashtag coffee. You grabbed a coffee personally and you wanted to share that to the world. If you put hashtag coffee, if someone looks for hashtag coffee posts come up. Everybody that's used hashtag coffee, those posts will come up and you can look through those. Hashtags are a way that a lot of people search on social media to find certain topics. And we'll talk about that a little more in the next slide or two. But including a hashtag gives your tweet context and allows people to easily follow topics that they're interested in. So maybe you are let's say you're the local coffee shop, and they, in their tweet, include hashtag coffee, hashtag whatever city that you live in. If you type that into the search bar in Twitter, those posts come up. So you may find coffee places or different coffee recipes, things that you didn't even realize that you were looking for just by searching hashtag coffee. That lets you find content with that information. So how to choose a Twitter hashtag? This gets a little complicated. And like I said, we're going to talk about this over the next couple of slides because there are some do's and don'ts when choosing a hashtag. So choose a word or a phrase that is relevant to your brand or the message that you're trying to convey. Put yourself in your audience's shoes. So remember, if they're searching for hashtag whatever, hashtag insurance, hashtag shoes, is it immediately clear from the hashtag what your brand is talking about? If you're an insurance agent, hashtag insurance makes sense. If you sell shoes, hashtag shoes make sense. So hashtags done right. Here are three different examples. So the first one here, for hashtag National Dog Day, we are donating 10% of today's sales to the hashtag ASPCA. So these hashtags make sense here if it's National Dog Day and the ASPCA is related to dogs. And so those hashtags make sense in this setting. This next one here, it's hashtag National Burger Day. What's your favorite place in town to get a good hashtag burger? And maybe you're specifically in a certain area, so you give a hashtag for the community that you're close to or that you're in. So hashtag Houston, hashtag Detroit, hashtag New York. And this last one here, looking for your perfect home, ABC Realtors can help. Hashtag home, hashtag real estate, and then specifically where you're looking for a home, hashtag Detroit, hashtag Michigan, or not where you're looking for a home, where these folks are to help you find your home. So those are hashtags done right. Let's see what it looks like when they're done wrong. The first one, for National Dog Day, for hashtag National Dog Day, we are hashtag donating 10% of today's hashtag sales to the hashtag SPCA, hashtag national, hashtag dog, hashtag day. No, this is not done right. This is a lot of hashtags that really don't make sense. How many people are looking up hashtag donating? Is that something that people are looking for in terms of whatever this company is doing? So let's say this is the local insurance agent, and they're just promoting that they're donating some of their sales to the ASPCA today. Are people going to look for this insurance company with hashtag donating? Hashtag national, that's a very broad term. Hashtag day, that has nothing to do with what's going on here. So that's an example of done wrong. The next one here, looking for your perfect home, ABC Realtors can help. Hashtag home, hashtag real estate, Detroit, Michigan, ABC Realtors, Amy Smith Realtor, Amy Smith helps you buy. Go with Amy Smith. Amy Smith knows real estate. All right, now, unless you are a big name in town, a celebrity, if your name is maybe attached to your business, then maybe you want to throw your name around a bit. But honestly, if go with Amy Smith is Amy Smith's kind of tagline, how many people are really searching for her by go with Amy Smith? How many people are really searching for Amy Smith helps you buy? I can guarantee you that if you type that into Twitter, it will show you that there are not a lot of people searching for that hashtag. When you're coming up with hashtags, and we'll go back here, again, put yourself in your audience's shoes. Are they going to be typing in hashtag Amy Smith Realtor? Unless they know you and that's the way that they search for you, maybe, but that's a waste of a lot of good real estate. As I mentioned, you only get so much room to be able to type a tweet. I wouldn't waste it on hashtags that aren't drawing you in an audience. So, okay, that was a lot of information to go through, but really we want to see what it looks like, right? Like, what does Twitter look like in reality if we're trying to actually use it for ourselves? So let me share my screen and bring up Twitter, and we'll do a walkthrough right on the platform. So I'm logged into Twitter as my business account. So I see here at the bottom left corner on my computer, McArdle Media. So I know I'm logged in as McArdle Media, as opposed to being logged in as myself. So this is what I see. This is a feed, a timeline, if you will, of all of the tweets of the people that I follow or that Twitter suggests that I follow. So what do I see here? Southfield Chamber of Commerce. That's interesting information. A landmark membership might be perfect for your business. So they're sharing about landmark membership status within the chamber. There are different ways that I can interact with this. Down here, if you hover over these different icons, if I click reply, this is like a comment on other, like if you're on Facebook, we comment on things. On Twitter, we reply to them. So if I click reply, I say, hey, this is a great idea, and click reply. If I want to share this with my audience to let them know, hey, you might be interested in landmark membership status at Southfield Chamber of Commerce. So I'll click the retweet button. And you've got two options here. You can retweet, which just sends it to your audience, or you can do a quote with that, which just means typing in a message. So let's do that now, actually. I'll click on here and I'll say, great info if you are interested, or I'll just keep it short. Great info, check it out. If I can type, check it out. All right, and so then I'll click tweet. And now it shows that I have retweeted this information. All right, so the other little icons here below, we have the heart, which is the like. I'll like it. I think it's an interesting post. And then one other icon here is to share. If you want to share this in a direct message, if you want to bookmark it, copy the link, there are different ways that you could share this information. Let's say you had a friend that was just talking about wanting to be a part of a chamber of commerce. You could share this directly with them and not with your entire audience. So that's what this looks like. This is all of the people that I follow. And again, Twitter gives suggestions for people that I might want to follow, who to follow. So there's information here about different businesses or pages that they think I'd be interested in following. Now, what does my profile look like? If I come over here to the left side, I will click on profile, and this is what my profile looks like. On your profile as a business professional page, you have access to things that you wouldn't have as just an individual. So if you're wanting to create, or if you've created a page for your business, you want to make sure it is the business professional profile and not just a personal profile. A lot of reasons for that. One, it's within their terms of use and how you actually use their product here. So ethically, you should be doing it this way. But two, you also gain a lot more behind the scenes things that you can use, insights to see how well are your posts doing, to see a lot of different analytics behind what you're doing. So this is what my business page looks like. So up here, I have my banner image that lets people know a little bit more about my business. I have my logo here in the photo. These two are important to know. This first one is my username. So when I log in, I usually have McArdle Media in my login, or I have my user handle. You'll see that it has the @ sign. We use that a lot in a lot of social media, but especially in Twitter. When you use the @ sign, you're attaching it to someone's name. So at McArdle Media LLC. If someone types in at McArdle LLC, it links it to me. It gives a hyperlink where then other people could click on it to be linked to my business here. So we use that as your handle, as your name, and that is also the way that people can link to you. Let's see if I can give a good example of this. Let's see if we'll come back to that in just a moment. You'll also see the bio section here, which is fairly short, just gives real quick information about what you do as a business. Twitter requires that you let people know what type of business you are. I'm an advertising and marketing agency. That's the group that I fall under. And it lets me link to my website. So a lot of great information in this top section of my Twitter profile. It helps my potential customers be able to find me. So instead of putting down here my website over and over again, hoping that people will come check me out, they know that they can come to my profile, click on the website, go straight to my website. They make it easy for you to sign up for a Twitter page, to edit. Here, I'll just click edit profile and you'll get a brief, rundown of the different things that you can edit here. So I can change my banner image here. I can change this to be my logo, a photo, anything that I would say anything. If I put a flower here or, a beautiful sunrise, no one's going to connect that with McArdle Media. So a photo or an image that links people, that helps them capture that, oh yeah, this is this business, the name of my business. And you'll notice when I click in here, it shows me how many characters I've used. So I've used 13 characters out of 50. So I can include up to 50 characters here in my name. The bio goes up to 160 characters. I've used 112 of those. My location, where I am in the world, and then some information here, other information if you choose to include that. So I'm just going to click the X because we didn't make any changes. One other thing I do want to talk about is direct messages. So if someone wants to message you directly, privately, behind the scenes, we call that a direct message. I can look up my messages that I've received here, click messages, and the messages that I receive come up here. What if I want to message a business? Let me open a business up here. So JetBlue. If you'll see here, there's a little envelope that I can click that says message. I could click there and type a message to JetBlue. Now, I'm not going to do that for a couple of reasons. One, I don't have anything to tell them, but also they've included something really interesting here that I wanted to share with you. And part of the reason I have this brought up here. In their profile, here at the top in their bio section, it says, nice to tweet you. For concerns that require a response, visit jetblue.com. Now, we'll talk about this a little bit. I think we have this included in the presentation today. A lot of people will go to Twitter, to any social media really, to try to reach out to a business. But you're not always there on Twitter, right? So think about you and your business. You're not always on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram to respond to those messages. You're doing the business. You're doing the work of your business. And so this I thought was really clever and wanted to point this out. A lot of people have concerns that, well, if I create a social media page and I'm not very active all the time, what if people send me messages and I don't reply? This is a perfect example of helping people understand how to reach you, to communicate with you. If you need a response, you can message us all day long and leave comments and direct messages. But if you need a response, visit jetblue.com. Or if you had a different way for people to reach you, for concerns that require an immediate response, call, email us at So I wanted to point that out because I thought that was actually very clever. So here's my Twitter page, admittedly, is a little bit small. Do as I say, not as I do. I haven't done enough to curate my page as I should. But JetBlue, they have 1.9 million followers. So I think they're doing something right. Now, they are a larger company. You may be a small business and thinking, well, I can't really live up to these standards. JetBlue has an entire marketing department. I have me. These are just a couple of things that I wanted to show you for ideas, inspiration. A lot of times people will say, well, I don't know what to tweet. I don't know what to post. It's great to go to other businesses to see what they're doing to get some ideas. Now, I'm not going to copy this completely, but to see what they're showing. JetBlue uniforms, that may be something that people are interested in. Not just the uniforms themselves, but that they have gender neutral uniforms, and they're showing that during Pride Month. Something else to show you here is that this is a pinned tweet. Now, what that means is you've decided that there's one tweet that you want people to see right off the bat as soon as they get to your page, you can, it could be one tweet that stays there constantly. It could be something that you change out every month. So they did this for Pride Month. I assume that they're going to swap that out for something soon. This is something that you have control over within your page, that if this is important information you want people to know right away. I'll give an example of, for some reason where I live during the summer, we get several power outages. So if we're having a power outage, I may put at the top, we're experiencing a power outage, please be patient, we'll be back online shortly. Whatever it is that you're trying to catch someone's attention with. But JetBlue does a great job with their social media. You'll see that in terms of branding, the blue color really sticks out here. It's very consistent throughout. So they do a really great job. I would go to them if I needed inspiration. Another Twitter page that I think does a really good job is DiGiorno. When we think in terms of, I have to have a really creative idea and spend a lot of time putting something together, DiGiorno shows us here that you just got to think outside of the box a little bit. So we know that their tagline is, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. So that's what they've done here with this tweet. It's not delivery, it's still DiGiorno. It's just words they've typed in with emojis, but this captured my attention. Very clever. They have, and I've said this before, it's not supposed to be salesy. It shouldn't be pictures of your products constantly, but they do a really good job with their product photos. And I will scroll down and look a bit more here. Do you want pizza every day? And they use emojis to write the word yes. Very creative, outside of the box thinking. A picture of the crust of their pizza. So this is a product photo, but they're not saying buy our pizza, buy our pizza. They're just putting this here to make your mouth water, so you'll want to buy their pizza. They do a great job as well. So I look to a lot of big companies, small companies, different companies for inspiration. And I would encourage you to do that as well. And so another thing to look for is maybe your competitors. And we'll talk about that in the upcoming slides. So actually we'll jump back into the slides and get moving with that. Let me get into presentation mode here. All right. So that was our walkthrough of Twitter. Now, let's talk about some of the pros and cons of using Twitter. So the pros, Twitter is free to use, much like other social media platforms. What you're doing is signing up, giving them a lot of your information. And so it's free in exchange for your information, essentially. You can use it to see what your competitors are doing. Now, not to be, like I said, spying on them to see what they're doing and copying what they're doing, but to see, the kind of communication that they're having, to see what's working for them, what's not working for them, and maybe incorporating some of those ideas into what you plan to do. If you are a very local business, would it behoove you to see what the business in the next town over? So I'm thinking businesses like a locksmith. There's usually like one locksmith in town. If you're in town A, look and see what town B is doing. Are they sharing information about what they do? Are they sharing what's happening locally? Maybe what you're doing in town A, maybe you want to promote what's going on locally. So you're that local business, that local field. There are different ways to see what your competitors are doing to build your brand. And you can automate posts with third-party software. Usually in Twitter, it does allow you to schedule some things ahead of time. But most of the time people, when they're automating posts, they're doing it through a third-party software. Now the cons. It takes time and effort to post consistently. It takes time and effort to respond to comments and messages. One of the pros we say here is that you can see what your competitors are doing. One of the cons is, what do you do with that information? That's a lot, of idea creation and thinking about, well, what do I do with this information? The cons are Twitter is free to use, but in terms of you're able to sign up for free. The time that you're spending costs you money. The time that you're paying someone else to post for you, to respond to comments and messages, costs you money and time. So that's true with any marketing effort. I'll throw that out there. It's a trade-off. So determine if you think it's right for you. So does a small business need to be on Twitter? It depends. It depends on your market. Who are you trying to reach? Millennials are the biggest audience on Twitter. That's ages 16 to 34. Nearly 60% of Twitter users were between 25 and 49 years old as of April 2021, and over 80% of users are under the age of 60. So if you're trying to reach an audience under the age of 60, you're trying to reach an audience who is savvy with social media, who's savvy with online mediums, then this may be a platform or an avenue of marketing that you'd be interested in. 1 in 5 adults in the US are on Twitter. So if you're in a room with 10 people, at least 2 of those people, statistically speaking, are on Twitter. That's a huge amount of the population. So if you're able to dedicate some resources to it, it's possible that it could help. One thing I will say is that you might want to test it to see, and this is true with all marketing, pick a platform, test it for a while, see if it's working. If it is, continue to use it. If not, don't use it. Now, you have to give it time. With all marketing and digital marketing included, it's a long game. So to test something for 2 months and then decide it's not working, not a good idea. I would give it at least 6 months to see, are you following when people are most active, posting at those times? It is a long game, but if you try it and decide you don't like it, you don't have to do it. It's like if you were going to try something to eat. For me, I'm not a fan of pineapple on pizza. I'm willing to try it. If I don't like it, I don't have to eat it, right? Same concept here. If it doesn't work for you, you don't have to use it. Just about any type of business can thrive on Twitter, whether you own an online e-commerce store, a local coffee shop, a hair salon, you make handmade gifts, you're a large national brand, a small local brand. If your customers are on Twitter, you can be successful on Twitter. And knowing whether your customers are on Twitter, we can do assumptions like the age of your customers. So if your clients are, as we saw the statistic, 80% are below the age of 60. If your customers are older than 60, maybe this isn't the marketing channel for you. But if this feels right, if you feel like your target customers are on Twitter, it's a good option. It's a good thing to try. And are your competitors on Twitter? If your competitors are on Twitter, it would behoove you to be on there as well. If you're not there, they are there, and they're getting that market share of those eyes on social media. And I put this very large because I want to stress this. You don't have to be on every social media platform. Let me say that again. You don't have to be on every social media platform. Choose the one or ones that work for you. And again, if you try it and it doesn't work, that's fine. It may not work at a certain time. It may work at other times. You sort of have to ride the wave when it comes to marketing, and it doesn't hurt to try, would be my kind of underlying advice here. So what can you do? Great information. What do I do with this information? First, I would decide, is Twitter a good platform for your business? Decide if you want to give it a try. Maybe you don't know 100% that it's a good platform for your business, but you're willing to test the waters and see if it's possible. Maybe you decide, nope, I don't think my audience is there, or I don't think I have the time to be there consistently. One thing I would say is, if you do create a Twitter account and don't use it very often, at least you exist out in the Twitterverse. If you create an account, and that's counterintuitive to most digital marketing advice. But in terms of Twitter, I feel like if you exist out there, it gives you a good chance of getting some contact with people, even if you're not posting. So another little wrench to throw in there for you to consider. Optimize your account. Make sure your pictures, your logos are updated. Make sure you have correct information. We saw that the bio section is quite short. If you have a link to your website, and maybe you've changed the URL to your website, or you've changed something in the bio is different from what is true about your business, you want to make sure that you're keeping up to date with that you're making sure that information is correct, so that if people are trying to reach out to you, they have the proper information. Post meaningful, visually appealing content. So that example of DiGiorno, they used emojis to make pictures, or they posted pictures of their pizza. To me, that did not feel salesy. So don't be salesy. What do you want to do with social media and marketing in general? You do eventually want to convert sales, right? You're not putting money and effort into this just to have a presence. You're doing it hoping that people will come through the door. But as that example with DiGiorno, I was drooling just looking at that picture of the crust on the pizza. They didn't have to say, buy our pizza. I immediately decided, okay, after this webinar, I'm probably going to make myself a DiGiorno pizza that's in my freezer. They didn't have to be salesy. They were just putting out information about their pizza. And something that I want to bring attention to, and this is true of Twitter and other platforms as well, don't post links that take you out of Twitter. So there's a place in Twitter for you to include the link to your business, right? We showed that in that top bio section of your profile. Twitter, and I'm going to throw Google in there, and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, they want people to stay on their platform. So Twitter wants people to stay on Twitter. If you're posting a lot of content with links that take you out of Twitter, it's my belief and my understanding that the algorithm, this thing that we don't 100% know, the checklist on what goes in and out of the algorithm, it may not favor your tweets. It may not, other people may not see all of that content. They want you to be able to keep people there. And so I would not post links out of Twitter, or do it as little as possible. So, a lot of information, a lot coming at you very quickly all at once. And as I mentioned in the beginning, this is just kind of a quick overview. Maybe I touched on some things that you were interested in. Maybe I touched on things that you didn't need to know. You need to know something more basic, or you need to know something more in depth. That's what I mentioned, our tech tutoring, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But think about, what do you want to do with this information? Do you want to move forward using Twitter? Do you already have a Twitter page and want to do something more with it? Do you want to create a Twitter page and see if it works for you? Take a moment, now after the webinar, just, 5 minutes to determine what you want to do with this information. You sat here for this long of time. You want to be able to take what you've learned, what you've thought about, what you've processing here, and move forward with it, to do something with it. So real quick, briefly, I just want to talk a little bit about McArdle Media. If you are a small business, you go to Google, you type in social media for small businesses. You will fall down the rabbit hole. There's so much information out there. There's good information. There's bad information. There's information that's more for larger companies and doesn't make sense for a small local business. I'm here to help kind of break through that noise and help you get the information that you need to make choices that make sense for your small business. I've created the simple savvy marketing system that helps you create a unique brand marketing experience for your business. But aside from that, and aside from several of these things that I do, what I really want to point out is my tech tutoring services. Again, maybe you need in-depth, maybe you need different information that we've talked about on this webinar. I offer one-on-one with clients so that we can walk through this together and you can get the answers to the questions that you have, as opposed to sitting with several other people in a group and people are asking questions that don't pertain to you. This is designed to work specifically for you, how you learn. I have a bit of an education background, so I take things into consideration about how do you learn. Does it make sense for me to show you? Do you need to be hands-on? Do we do both? This will be hour-long sessions. This will be the best hour that you've spent. The way this is different than, let's say, getting on YouTube and watching a video and learning how to do something. And I don't know if I think this rings true for a lot of folks. I've heard this and I've experienced it myself. You're watching something on YouTube and you get to a certain part and you realize, well, my screen doesn't look like that. Well, I don't have that option. Well, mine doesn't let me do that. And you have no one to ask. You can't ask the YouTube person, hey, can we jump on a call real quick and show me why mine doesn't look like that? That's where this one-on-one tech tutoring is different and so unique, is that when we get to a point where you don't quite know what to do, you have a human being to help you get to that next step. So with that, we'll wrap it up. If you want to know more about any of this, we have some upcoming webinars. We've got Google My Business, Google Business Profile, branding, different things coming up. So feel free to check that out at our website. That's McArdleMedia.com. And I'm always available for a free consultation. Well, always available. I make myself available as often as I can for a free consultation. And here's my contact information. I hope this was helpful for you. If you do have questions, it's free to have a conversation. If we jump on a conversation and realize you need more in-depth training or something that take a little bit more time, then we can talk about paid options. But if you have questions, feel free to reach out. This is Jennifer McArdle with McArdle Media, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, or morning. Take care.